Alright, so this is Atlas Tutorial 101 for the Fort Weyr Family and Extended Friends Network, brought to you by your lovely buddy, Drakin and Ryu. That's me. Ignore the teammates because I won't be with them for very much longer. So, as you can see, nothing is going to change on your base layout once Atlas is loaded up for your team. The only thing that will change when you first open up at the game will be the icon over to the right center of your display with the scroll and dagger in it. That is the Atlas icon. You're going to go ahead and click on that, which will bring you to the Atlas map once it loads up on PG's lovely low servers. There's a lot going on visually with Atlas, just an FYI. So those of you who are easily seasick or have vertigo may want to avert your gaze for the rest of this video. But Atlas is a second game within War Dragons, full of territories and areas that are owned by pretty much diamond teams, namely Dread. If ever you want to go pick a fight with the big bullies, just look for the skull and crossbones there, and there they be. You always have to give Atlas a second to load up the specifics on the little territory. Once you can zoom in, you will see that each territory contains anywhere from 2 to 4 castles per territory, which are owned by various teams. When you land in Atlas, you're going to give a tutorial for 15 minutes you have to go through. That's going to include a Primarch explanation, as you can see over here in the lower left. There are 3 different kinds, technically 4, but we'll get to that in a little bit in a different video. When you land in Atlas, you will be given a home in a random territory in what was called no man's land, which look like this. These white territories with the little hands on them are no man's land. They belong to no one. Anyone without a home or a castle may place their Primarchs at these castles. They cannot be owned. You cannot be attacked on them. There are no shields to them. There are no blockades. So your Primarch is safe in these areas. They also have the poacher icons, which are these lovely icons here. They are poachers that will slowly move their way through territories. You are to attack them for both experience and gold, which the #1 rule within Atlas: do not ever, ever, ever carry more than you need to create troops or to level up your Primarch, or if you're opening a second slot for a second and third Primarch. Otherwise, you will be attacked by someone who has Atlas and that gold will be stolen. Gold is like water and air in this game. Second rule of Atlas: do not ever, ever, ever have more than 1 troop on your Primarch if you are not actively defending your castle, such as these Primarchs here, or actively attacking somebody. You will only lose troops and not gain that much glory. So, back to getting into landing in Atlas. Once you finish the tutorial, you're giving, I believe it is 10,000 free gold, which is not a lot, to make some troops and to try and go attack somebody. The coordinates that you are located at, which will always be the center of your screen, are up on the upper left next to the picture of your Primarch. In this case, it is X -113.1, Y 10. You need to coordinate with the team where you're all going to gather within Atlas. Find a spot in no man's land, all grouped together, so that you guys can coordinate how you're going to go about either getting a castle, attacking for glory, or what have you. When you attack in Atlas, you have your choice of options between attacking the poacher, like I said, which will give you gold and experience for your dragon. Attacking the gold mine, which is usually at the center of a territory, which will give you gold and experience as well, but it does not give you element shards, which if you click anywhere within a territory, This will show up. Up here, the primary material is the element shard that is used for making gear for your rider. I will get into specifics about that when I explain Atlas events in a different video. Anything colored within Atlas territory-wise is owned by a team or multiple teams, as you see in this striped territory here. So you have this territory split between the Reforged, Servitors, and where's the 13? Taker Gates. So they have 3 different colors striping that territory. If one team owns it, as you can see, solid red, solid blue, that's one team has owned that. These weird territories here that have the funky coloring to it, those are not accessible to Atlas. They are controlled technically by, what is it, Karnak? You'll get this right here, that's not unlocked. You cannot travel into these territories yet, unless they release them into the big expansion, which from how I understand it, let me zoom back out here, the expansion you'll be getting will include Shimmering Dunes, Fangs of Mahittan, Valley of the Pharaohs, all this up here in the north, and then down here around the edge, from how I understand it, will open up. The diamond teams are already gearing up to take the castles within this land, so don't think you're going to get a castle anytime soon. You kind of either have to brute force take one or negotiate for one. The other option to attack, zoom back out, are these dark blood red territories within Atlas. Those are the PvP zones, a player versus player. You can attack the poachers that are within this territory as well for points or shards. Within the PvP zones, their shards are randomized. And usually what happens is that it gives you the shards you have the least of in your bank. So this is why I tell you only have one troop on your Primarch, because if you are attacked in the PvP zone, you lose one troop, whereas the attacking person loses however much is at their Primarch tier. And I'll explain Primarch tiers in a different video. There's also a gold mine here, which you can just sit here and attack in there as well if you want, but it doesn't accumulate for poacher gold, just regular gold. Which the gold mine, when you're done with the poachers, will give you bonus experience if you're stuck in one zone. So yes, back to the PvP zone. So this blood red color with the black coloring with it, this is the PvP zone. You can get attacked in here. You will earn glory if you attack players in here in their Primarchs. You will also earn glory if you attack somebody at their castle. However, be wary, the higher level the castle is, the more likely they will have a high fort, which means you will lose more troops than they will, and that's less glory for you. Glory is kind of like Atlas experience you get towards your Primarchs to level them up. I'll get into this a little bit more in a different video for the Primarchs, because there's a lot of explanation going on the different types that go on there. You have, like I said, over on the left, starting on the upper left corner, the number of troops in the Primarch. Right there is that number with this little helmet. You have the Primarch you currently have accessed. If you have more than one, they show up around the map as their icons. You click on that icon and it activates that Primarch so you can move it or attack or do what have with it. Home button is always the home castle that you have. If you do have a castle, you can move to it by clicking move. You hit manage. This will activate the heads-up display for the actual castle. Come on, PG servers. So you can click on that. This will tell you whose Primarch is parked at your castle and how many troops they have. You can transfer up to 200 troops a day to someone's Primarch if they are a primary attacker. I'll explain that later on. You have your HQ. This HQ serves basically kind of how the Builder's Hut serves on regular War Dragons, that this must be leveled up before you can level anything else. So no buildings on your castle may go higher than what your level on your HQ is. Your bank, where you store all of your goodies, primarily gold. During feed events, you can have access to that for food to give to anybody within the game. I'm sorry, not the game, on your team. Same with wood during fortification. There is a ledger. So if anyone thinks that someone is getting more than they have, this tells you who is transferring all. Oh, we don't have any taxes because our gold's all maxed up. Anyhow, this will tell you who has been contributing to the bank. You'll have taxes which can be set by either the banker or any officer or the leader for the tax rate, so you automatically get a small amount of your gold earnings sent to the bank, or you just donate to the bank, any of the three. And the ledger will show you how much you have put in there and who has taken what out. It doesn't tell you who it is sent to, at least not yet. So you just hit send resources to the bank, and like I said, the gold in this castle is full. If there was any option, I would just send that much of food as what I have. So to the bank. Back to for the fort. The fort is what defines the base that is going to be used for defending when people attack the castle directly. This fort, in this case, this player called Mayor, his base will be used as a template for the attacking a team to attack. The higher your fort is within the castle, the higher the tower's level is that they're attacking against. So it is a good idea to have a fort that is very high, but unfortunately your fort can only go up to level 2 unless you have another castle, then you can go up to the fort at another level. The same with the towers. This is what you use to create portals to other castles that you may own that are far apart. You can create a portal for a certain amount of money, but the drawback to the portals is that they only are able to take a certain number of troop capacity. So if you have one player that has, we'll say, 50,000 troops on one Primarch, and they keep going back and forth between the portal, they're going to waste the portal usage. But if you have 5 players with only one Primarch on it, they can go back and forth pretty much all day, if need be. Enfeeble is what you use to basically weaken anybody who's attacking your castle. You hit Enfeeble and everybody loses defense points on their Primarchs and on their base when you attack, so you can get a offensive boost, whereas a fort offers a defensive boost for your castle. The refinery. On this particular castle, it is in a fire territory, so when we increase the level of the refinery, that gives a bonus on the fire shards that you earn within a fire territory when you attack. Each improvement or level up requires you to spend gold, as you can see there. It tells you how long, and people can donate time to the timer on that, just like you can in fortification. You can donate time, anyone can do that. It just requires a lot of gold, as you can see, and everyone can contribute to that. So you can greatly boost a castle very quickly if everyone is doing their runs and contributing to the gold in the bank. And then you have the barracks, which there is no level or a max of what you can spend the barracks. Everybody can store their troops in the barracks. As you can see, currently I have 25,500 troops stored in this barracks. My Taunter is the current Primarch I have chosen. I can send the whole amount. That Taunter can hold that. I'm not going to send anybody to them right now because I'm not attacking anybody. But once your troops are transferred to a Primarch, they cannot be transferred back. They are there until they die. see if there's anything else I need to... Oh, so another little 101 on this. So your home base is this castle here, in this particular instance, I should say. So I have my Primarchs scattered across the PvP zone just to help attack more poachers. This is an allied castle. They show up as bright yellow on the map. This ring around this castle is called a blockade. These blockades will trap Primarchs traveling through this territory for anywhere from 5 to 12 hours, sometimes 15, depending on how much golden experience is on that castle. The small white, purplish ones you see, oh, not that one, let's see. These ones here. These smaller purple ones will delay you from anywhere from 5 to about 15 minutes. It doesn't seem like a lot of time, but if you are there long enough to annoy that team, they will attack your Primarch. So you want to avoid hitting all these castles you don't necessarily need to travel to. They will delay you and cause you to travel even longer than you need to. Back here. You can set your home as any allied castle that you want, your own castle, or even a castle in no man's land if you want. However, if you put your home as a castle in no man's land, you will not get the gold bonus from a bank, nor will you be taxed. However, you're not contributing to that bank either, so people still know that, so don't be stingy. Since I have my Primarch here at this allied castle, there's another one down here. I'm going to move it back to home. Before I do that, I want to click on that one. So now, as you can see, I have him selected as my primary. You just click on the castle, hit move. You see the little green arrows and the way he's going. You get there, and then you get placed within the protective ring. So, if you want to transfer troops to a Primarch, your Primarch has to be either at your castle. It cannot be in a PvP zone, because that's considered an unfriendly zone, or in a opposing team castle. You can be at a castle within a no man's land castle and transfer them if you wish, but there cannot be enemies within sight or near the castle for you to transfer. If you want to just transfer your troops that you are training to the castle, not your Primarch, like I said, I made a boo-boo earlier and put some troops on this one without meaning to, so now they're stuck there until my trapper gets killed. So your troops will automatically be transferred to any Primarch that is stationed at the castle, whether you mean to or not, so be cognizant of that. I'm going to move it here. So now they're all in PvP, which is okay for me. I don't care at this moment. You can expedite your troop training like you do during fortification. And then once they're done, as you can see, it highlights it like you would for a dragon that's got experience. They're finished, click on it, and they're automatically transferred to the barracks. Had I had my trapper still sitting there, it would have said automatically transferred to Primarch, and I would have even more sitting there. So I'm going to move back there. On the upper right corner, you have the icon to go back to your base in regular War Dragons. Right below that, you have the amount of gold you currently have on you. As with wood and food, that fill bar will fill up towards full. If you have enough gold to get it towards full, it'll start turning yellow. The icon below it is for diamonds. Diamonds are used to either buy gold that you don't have, or once you get to Atlas, there's something called the Atlas season. They had an Atlas Springvale season. I'll show you that in a second. It's currently done. Oh, they have the treasury here. So you earn badges based on how much glory you earn or acquire when you attack people in Atlas, and it gives you chests automatically on that scale, and you open them up for points for the prizes that the icon's no longer here, but you'll see that when the new season starts, that you can get more gold, more I'll spend explaining the Atlas season in the events section in a different video. I believe that is it for the Atlas 101 for the moment. I'll make another video explaining the Primarchs, and then with that video I'll explain attacking a little bit, and then I'll do one run through attack right now so you can see how Atlas attack is a little bit differently, and then I'll explain the Atlas events also in a different video. But as you can see, the store changes as well. You get the shards you can buy along with crafting scrolls, which are very important during the gear event. I'll explain that later on. You have these other Atlas prizes which change, and they rotate between Atlas chests. As you can see, there's 3 of them in that one, and bullhorns, which you use to make extra troops above the 800. I'll explain that in a little bit here about troop training. They rotate within rider gems for Atlas, and also diamonds prizes. So if you don't see what you want within the Atlas packs, give it till the timer goes out. It'll change over, and you can buy something different for whatever you need. And they all vary depending on how much money you want to give PG, which hopefully is very little, since they kind of suck. I didn't say that out loud. However, you still heard it. And that's it for this video. Like I said, I'll make another one here soon.